It was late evening when Daniel's old pickup rattled down the empty country road. The man behind the wheel, a single father in his 30s, looked worn from life's endless struggles. His shirt sleeves were rolled up, his hands rough from construction work, and his tired eyes carried years of quiet sacrifice. But despite exhaustion, Daniel always carried one thing with him: hope. Not for himself, but for his daughter, Lily, a 7-year-old with a smile so bright it could break through even the darkest storm. Daniel had lived through storms. His wife had passed away giving birth to Lily, leaving him with grief that nearly drowned him. For years, he clawed his way through poverty, raising Lily alone, choosing every day to keep moving forward. His life was far from easy. Paycheck to paycheck, bills stacked higher than his courage some nights. But there was kindness in him that not even hardship could kill. That kindness showed itself that very night, when headlights caught the trembling figure of a woman on the side of the road. At first, Daniel thought he was imagining things. A woman in a torn white dress, barefoot, hugging herself against the cold. She looked like a ghost from another world. He slowed down, his heart tugged by the sight. She was crying, shoulders shaking as though carrying a burden no one else could see. Daniel pulled over, careful not to frighten her. He rolled the window down and leaned slightly out. "Miss, are you all right?" His voice was calm, gentle, the way he spoke to his daughter when she had nightmares. The woman flinched, stepping back as if she expected cruelty from strangers. Her mascara was smudged, her hair loose, and her eyes, green, glassy, and filled with pain, looked at him with both suspicion and desperation. "Please, I just need to get away," she whispered. Daniel noticed the dress. It wasn't just torn. It was expensive fabric, satin and lace, ruined by mud and tears. His chest tightened as realization flickered. She had been a bride. A runaway bride. "Where do you need to go?" he asked softly. "Anywhere but here," she replied, her voice breaking. "Just not back there." Daniel didn't press. He didn't ask for her story. He simply opened the door. "Hop in. You'll be safe here." For a moment she hesitated. Trust wasn't easy for someone who had clearly been broken by the world, but something in Daniel's tired yet kind eyes made her believe he meant no harm. Slowly, she climbed into the truck. The scent of old leather and motor oil filled the air. But it was warm inside, safer than the cold night. They drove in silence for a few miles, only the hum of the engine filling the void. Daniel respected her quiet, but he also noticed her shivering hands and the way she stared out the window like she was running from demons. Finally, he spoke. "Name's Daniel. My little girl's asleep at home, waiting for me to get back. Don't worry, she's got her grandma's quilt wrapped around her. She'll be fine till I return." The woman's lips trembled, almost forming a smile before sorrow pulled it away. "I'm Emily," she said finally. "That's a nice name. Emily." He nodded as though trying to anchor her identity in something steady. "Well, Emily, you're safe now." A tears welled in her eyes. No one had told her she was safe in years. Not truly. She stared down at her hands. "Do you always help strangers on dark roads?" Daniel chuckled softly. "Not every stranger. But someone in a wedding dress, looking like the world ended. Yeah, I couldn't just drive past." Her breath caught. She wanted to laugh, but the ache in her chest wouldn't let her. Instead, her voice shook as she whispered, "You don't understand. I left everything. Everyone. They'll be looking for me." Daniel didn't ask who they were. He could guess. A wealthy family, maybe even a powerful man she was forced to marry. Her dress spoke of luxury. Her broken spirit spoke of prison. "You don't have to explain," he said quietly. "Just breathe. For tonight, you're free." Emily turned to look at him then. Something about his words, simple, unpolished, genuine, broke through the walls she had built. She began to cry, really cry, the way a person does when they've held everything inside for too long. Daniel didn't interrupt. He didn't tell her to stop. He just kept driving, steady, letting her tears fill the silence. When they finally reached Daniel's modest home, a small wooden house with peeling paint, but a warm glow in the windows, Emily stared in surprise. It wasn't wealth that lived here. It was love. She could feel it even before stepping inside. Lily, hearing the door open, came running in her pajamas. Her golden curls bounced as she hugged her father.
"Daddy!"
"You're home." Then her big eyes blinked at Emily. "Who's this?" Emily froze, unsure what to say. But Daniel smiled. "This is Emily. She's our guest tonight. Be nice, okay?" Lily's eyes lit up. "Hi, Emily." "You can have my blanket if you're cold." Emily's throat tightened. She hadn't felt pure kindness like that in years. Not from strangers. Not even from family. She knelt down, touched by the little girl's innocence. "Thank you, sweetheart. You're very kind." The night unfolded with simple grace. Daniel warmed soup on the stove, insisting Emily eat. She hadn't realized how hungry she was until the first spoonful. Emily felt the warmth seep into her, not just from the food, but from the atmosphere of this humble home. Laughter, stories, small moments, things she had been starved of in her mansion of gold. Later, while Lily slept, Emily sat at the table with Daniel, her hands wrapped around the mug of tea he had made. Finally, she spoke. "I was supposed to marry a man I don't love, a man who doesn't even see me as a person, just an asset, a name, an image to display. My father forced me into it, said it was about power, reputation, money. But when I stood there at the altar, I felt like I was suffocating. So I ran." Her voice cracked. "I don't even know who I am anymore. All I know is I couldn't give away the rest of my life to someone who never cared for my heart." Daniel listened, nodding slowly. His gaze was steady, firm, as though anchoring her storm. "You were brave. Running away doesn't mean you're weak. It means you chose freedom over chains." Emily stared at him, stunned by his words. Brave. She had felt like a coward all evening. Yet here was a man who worked himself to the bone, raising a child alone, calling her choice brave. She wiped her tears. "Why are you being so kind to me? You don't even know me." Daniel leaned back, thoughtful. "Maybe because I know what it feels like to lose everything and still wake up the next day. Maybe because kindness is the only thing that makes this hard world bearable. And maybe because my daughter's watching. I want her to know this is how you treat people." Emily's chest ached, but this time it was a good ache. Something inside her cracked open, letting in light. She realized that even in her darkest escape, she had stumbled upon something rare. Human kindness that asked for nothing in return. When she finally went to bed that night, wrapped in Lily's spare blanket, Emily stared at the ceiling with tears streaming down her face. But they weren't tears of fear anymore. They were tears of hope. For the first time in years, she believed that maybe, just maybe, she could find a life worth living.